Hello everybody. Let's do a monthly trend scan here for the month of November, looking at the individual asset classes. So let's start with the US equity. So this is particularly interesting, right? Let's start with the Dow Jones. So the Dow Jones, well, we had this period here on the 240, this period of, no, sorry, here, this period on the daily, this period of consolidation. It actually looked like, well, it wants to turn into a downtrend. It looked like it wanted to roll over, right? Well, we discussed that and we quickly understood, oh, well, this is actually not rolling over, right? This is an S1 gecko, so this is a trap. And I have fallen in, like with this down move. I got stopped out of a long-term swing position. Well, I got back in again once the entry triggered. So this has developed nicely, right? So we're still here on this very strong and smooth uptrend. We can see it on the weekly and on the monthly. Well, we can see we're in a vertical market, right? It's accelerating. It's getting more and more. We see more and more vertical price action. How long can this continue? Well, we don't know, right? We just know that we trade this chart long, well, as long as it continues and as long as we get patterns to get into. So for example, now, well, after this daily pattern that worked nicely, it produced a momentum, like a stop run move, right? Well, now it's a time of a pause and a refresher. And that's what we get here, like one time frame low on the 240. And this is another gecko pattern, right? So this looks like, well, the bears get into the market and they see this and they get, they get euphoric, right? For trading this chart short. Well, the bears, they see this too, right? This vertical market. And they say, well, that's hilarious. We're going to trade that down here, basically, right? So that's what they want to do. And this is what happens here. So a lot of shorts got triggered in here. Well, this is an S1 pattern. It lives, it consumes the shorts, right? It takes over the account of the shorts, the counter trend trader. So the entry trigger is a rebreak, right, above the line. And this is a 240 S1 pattern. Now let's have a look at the next one because it's quite interesting. I mean, those who think that the US equities are so correlated that it doesn't actually matter, well, there are differences, right, as you trade patterns. So for example, well, we had a similar pattern here, right, on the daily. That's a gecko pattern too. It was an even better one. So I traded this and the Nasdaq actually. Well, now we've got another pattern again here on the 240, but it's not a gecko, right? This is a turtle pattern and this is a test bar. And the entry had occurred here. Well, then it came back. Well, now we're at the same entry level. So this is an S2 pattern, right? On one time frame lower. Now let's have a look at the Nasdaq. Again, here we had a nice gecko. We are still here in this overall uptrend. So looking at the 240, well, there's actually nothing, right? It just came back and then pulled higher. But I mean, we're looking, the markets are fractal, right? And we can actually see here on one time frame lower on the 60 that there were a string of S1 patterns as well. One time frame lower than the 60, right? So they occurred on the 15 minute. So this is an S1. This is an S1 basically on the 5 minute, and this is an S1. So we're basically trading the same move, right? US equities long, but you approach it in a different way. And this is a nice example to show how things come together, basically. Now let's have a look at EMD. So EMD, same thing here, right? Well, we actually had down here on the daily back then, we had an S2 pattern. So that worked nicely, and now we get an S1 pattern on the 240, right? So and this is about to trigger. So that looks, well, no, we're not. Yeah, this is about to trigger, right? So that's the closest of those US equities. Now let's have a look at the Russell. Now the Russell doesn't show, actually doesn't show anything, right? So the patterns come in and the top 4 US equities. Now let's have a look, let's go over to the metals. So the metals. So well, we had back then here, we had a gecko, right? It took some time, it was struggling with the 200, now it has broken higher, it has broken this high. So bull strength comes into the market. I mean, we're basically timing here, let's look at the monthly chart. We're timing here this pullback down, right, into the 21 moving average. We're timing the low. Well, from this S1, the stop goes here. Well, we're actually placing, the stop is placed at this consolidation low, which is nice, and I'm quite happy with it. Now, as a bull strength comes in, well, patterns are coming in, right? This is an S1 pattern. We are not yet in trend mode, but patterns are coming in. And I'm quite bullish for gold. It might just take a little bit more time. Same for silver. Well, silver looks a bit different, right? I mean, silver, we have this huge S1 pattern down here on the monthly, and now it's basically putting in an S2 one here. That's a turtle, and we're working with the way higher, right? And well, we're still in consolidation mode, but in the end, what we're looking for on the medium term is another leg like this on the monthly, right? So we're still in consolidation mode. It has nicely consolidated. We saw the drop back down, we are ready within these next couple of months to put into another leg like this. And this was basically, this was going from 12 something to 30, right? So we're looking for another leg that at least doubles in price. Well, doubling in price from 25, well, this should bring us very close to the high, right? And getting close to the high, that's a huge stop run level. Well, we have the opportunity to run that over, basically. Now let's have a look at copper, the HG contract. Again, here we had a nice pattern, we had a nice run up. So this is a stop run move. Prices are overextended from moving average. So this is always a sign that we might not get immediate follow through, right? That we might need a longer consolidation here and here to just have a pause and a refresher. So I'm not particularly interested here in getting involved with copper for maybe a couple of months now. Let's have a look. Let's go over to the energies, crude oil. So crude oil, crude oil is coming from a very low level, right? This was a spike, low corona below, I think it was at 7 something, and well, we had a pullback, right? Well, we had a quick move higher. I think we're in an early uptrend. This is the first leg. We have triggered. This is a pattern on the monthly. It looked quite well. We had some other patterns coming, and now just recently, well, we had this one, right? Which triggered an entry and it failed. So that happens whenever a pattern fails. Well, I actually want to see it fail strongly, and this could actually go lower, much lower. So we've not been able here to run this on the monthly, this stop run level. We came at equal levels, right? And now if the bulls are not strong enough, what happens? Well, they fall back, right? And the bears are gaining ground. So I'm expecting actually here for the energies to retrace back quite a bit. Now let's have a look at natural gas. So natural gas had this huge up run, right? So we were not surprised at all with that. Well, we were actually playing this. Well, why? Well, because natural gas is famous for doing so, right? We had a big up run here, we had another up run here, and natural gas is a great trading instrument in both directions. So this was a huge up move. I believe too that natural gas has made its low here for a pattern as well that did not work on the weekly chart, but now it looks very bearish, right? And I could well imagine that we're actually seeing a couple of weeks with downwards pressure. So I'm not looking to trade this long anymore. It's rather the opposite side. Let's have a quick look at the interest rates. So that's a 5-year T-note. So we're clearly in an uptrend. So meaning the higher the price goes, the lower the yield goes. So this is still in an uptrend, and there's no sign of topping, right? However, well, we have swings, right? And currently, well, this was a potential S1 that didn't turn out to be. So we see a pullback, right? For those who are calling this a top, well, it might be too early because this is a very strong and smooth trend. However, if the interest rate futures, if they're topping out, we might see a lot of momentum to develop because this is waning momentum, right? We might see a lot of momentum to develop on the short side, and then I'll get much more involved into trading interest rate futures. Now let's have a look here at the US dollar index, the DX. So the DX, so this is a Corona spike bar, right? A big bar with a big bottom and a big top wick. So what we're seeing right now here, that's a monthly chart again, that's a short pattern. So after this short entry signal, well, what we see here, it's a pullback, right? A pullback bar. So this bar basically, it's coming back and testing the base, and it's as well testing the 200 because it's so close beyond the bar. Well, this is heavy resistance, right? And we should see now, and well, we'll see if that happens. The market is always right. We should see now if actually if the bulls are finding resistance and the bears are coming in. Well, everything is prepared, right, for the short side. Here on the weekly, we've got a short pattern. So now the bulls are getting euphoric, right? Well, that's a breakout activity. Well, they have won a battle, right? The bulls over the bears, but the war is not over. I mean, the next battle starts when this price crosses below the red, and then we should actually get back here and see how price goes down. Well, runs through those levels, stop run levels on a quarterly chart. So I remain bearish for the dollar over the next years to come, because this is a huge pattern, right? I mean, that started back in 2003, so that's a 17-year pattern, and that has quite some significance. So thank you for that.